So all of you can open yesterday sheet. So yesterday we worked on the numeric variables. Today we will work on the non-numeric variables. So if you look at our data, so there are non-numeric variables like host name, neighborhood group, neighborhood, minimum nights also can be treated as numeric or non-numeric. We'll see how. For non-numeric data, earlier we used to use COUNTIF, SUMIF, AVERAGEIF functions. Now all these functions have been integrated into pivot tables. So we can directly use pivot tables to analyze the data, particularly non-numeric data. Go to the listings one sheet, the core data sheet. Go to the core data sheet. Select any single cell on the data. Just click on any single cell on the data. Go to insert the first option pivot table. Go to insert the first option pivot table. It automatically reads the pivot table range. Let it be new worksheet. Click OK. Select any single cell on the data. Go to insert the first option pivot table. Click on it. Now the data range is automatically read. A new worksheet will be created with your pivot table. Now you will see the 4-window thing. I have given straight 4 windows. You want to change the setting that looks fine. You can click on the settings and you can choose a second option. Or you can go with the default options. The 4 windows will have filters, rows, columns, and values, right? Okay, now you can see, right? Now in pivot table, the fields will give you the variable names. For creating a table, you have to drag one variable to rows or columns, and the same variable must be also dragged to values. Until you populate the cell values, you will not get the numbers. Values is a cell which needs to be populated for getting the output. Take for example, I am dragging room type to rows. Drag room type to rows. So we have 3 types of room types, right? Entire home apartment, private room, and shared room. Now to know how many of them are there, drag room type again to values. Once you drag it to rows, second time you drag it to. Now the moment you populate the value cell, you will see so in Dallas, majority of the listings are entire home and apartment. Home and apartment. So you can copy this table, Control C, go to a new sheet in the same workbook. Do not paste it directly. Paste special values and number formatting. The second option, values and number formatting. Do not paste it directly, because if you paste it directly, the pivot table also will get pasted. So use values and number formatting. Not formula. Formatting. Values and number formatting. Below values, see on top you see paste. Below paste values will be there. Na? Paste values, second option. %123. In paste special, %123 is values and number formatting. Now you can select the table, except grand total, you can create the pie diagram. Select the table without grand total. Insert, recommended charts, second option, pie. You can see the pie diagram. You click on it, you will see in chart design, lot of options are there. Chart design, I am choosing the option where you can see the variable name with percentage. You can choose any of your choice in chart design. On top, you will see, click on the chart. You will see chart design on top. Chart design and chart format, chart tools. Once you click on the chart, they will get activated. Okay, and then you can choose your design. Whatever design you want, you can choose. There are multiple chart designs. Pre-formatted designs are there. You can choose them. Pre-formatted chart designs are there. You can choose them. Once you have chosen, you want to change color. You can click on change colors. Scroll on top of each of the color. So now it is fully automated. You can do all the adjustments automatically within creation of charts, recommended charts, predefined designs. Got it, all of you? So when you are doing pie diagram, make sure you are not selecting grand total. And all, do not choose grand totals. Okay, that is thumb rule. Now let's go back to the pivot sheet. Sometimes you need to have the percentages in the next column only. Here we are getting percentages in pie chart. Sometimes we need percentages next to the actual data. So count of room type, and I want to know what is the percentage, right? So what I'll do is I'll drag room type second time to values. Okay. On the second time, you can see there is a black arrow. Click on it. Click on the black arrow. Value field settings. Click on the black arrow. Value field settings. Show values as percentage of column total. So drag count of room second time. Click on this. Value field settings. Now I want to know how many rooms are there neighborhood wise. So you can drag back all the cells, empty the cells of the pivot table by dragging them to field list, drag and drop. Clear all the values from the cells by dragging and dropping them into the field list. Now I want to know neighborhood wise how many rooms are there. Neighborhood wise, how many rooms are there? So drag neighborhood to rows. You have this many neighborhoods, district 1 to 6, 12, 14, all are there. Again, drag neighborhood to values. By default, it will become form. Now, I want this data to be sorted out. So what we can do is, can click on the row labels, value filters, more sort options, descending by count of neighborhood. Click on the down arrow. Next to row labels, you have a down drill down, right? More sort options. Click on descending. On the down box, count of neighborhood, and click OK. More sort options, descending, and choose count of neighborhood. Count of rooms by neighborhood. District 2 followed by district 14, district 1 are the top rooms. Most of the rooms are in these districts. Click on the down arrow next to row labels, more sort options. Click on the down arrow next to row labels, more sort options. Then click on the down arrow or drill down, choose count of neighborhood. First, click on the down arrow next to row labels, more sort options, and then descending count of neighborhood. Copy paste the data table into the new sheet where you have created the earlier graph. Control Shift side arrow, Control Shift down arrow, Control C. Go to the sheet where you have created the earlier table. Paste special, values and number formatting. Paste special, values and number formatting. So you can use bar chart. Because there are too many categorizations, a pie chart does not look good. So in this case, we will use bar chart. We don't have any bar chart with data labels. Copy the table, paste it in the new sheet as paste values and number formatting. Select the table without grand tables, grand total. Click on the bar chart, the first chart. You can choose your chart whichever you like. And then for adding data labels, add chart element. Left side, you will see add chart element. In chart design, you will see on the left side, add chart element. Click on it. Click on chart design. On the left extreme corner down, you will see add chart element. So you have to sort it. Select count of neighborhood. Now you got the descending. Select the tables. Go to the same sheet where you have pasted the table. Select the cell below. This website below paste special. Second option is values. Paste values and number format. For adding the value, click on the chart. Left side chart design and see add chart element. Okay, can you move forward? Go to the pivot table sheet. Now to this table, I'll drag room type to columns. I'll drag room type to columns so that I will know which district has how many of each type of room types. Drag room type to columns. So on rows, we have neighborhood. On columns, we have room type. So district 2, 1490 have entire room rate, 115 private rooms, 20 shared rooms. Now copy this table, Control C, paste special, values and number formatting. Stacked bar chart. Stacked bar chart. You can see on the screen. Stacked bar chart. Bar have multiple colors. See, blue, orange, and gray. So for this pivot table, I have dragged room type to columns. Drag room type to columns. In the previous table only, we will drag room type to columns. We'll keep the table as it is and drag room type to columns. Neighborhood in rows, room type to columns, count of neighborhood in values. Yeah, we have to avoid right side grand total. Again, select it now. All grand totals you have to avoid. When you are charting, you have to avoid either the column grand total or row grand total. Whatever it is there, you will not select it. You will take the data points only. Then, all of you, we are doing the whole chart. Columns. Now select the table. Copy and paste it in the new sheet. Paste values and number format. Pivot table sheet, you have to add room type to columns. Always do paste special values. In the same sheet you are doing that. Yeah. Select the table without grand totals. Don't select grand total. Right side grand total also. Right side of the grand total. Because inside again. I'll go to bar charts. First option. First option, bar chart. Vertical. First in the charts. First in the chart. Left element. Second option. First row, second option. First row, second option. And control Z. Click on the column. Second chart in the first row. That one. Click on it. Yes. So these are the properties available based on room type and district. Based on room type and district, these are the properties that are available. Now empty all the cells of the table. Drag room type to rows, drag price to values. By default, it will show it as sum. Click on value field settings, change it to average. Average price of this type of property. Drag room type to rows, drag price to values. Click on the down arrow, value field settings, average. This is the average price of the properties. Entire home apartment is $192 on an average. Private room 173.12, shared room 49.47. Average price of different properties. We have different lot of properties have different prices, but we are calculating the average. We use average as a comparison method. We compare properties based on average. So you can see here room type in rows, price in values. Click on the thing value field settings. Average is the comparison between the various types of categories. Now you got the average price. You can copy the table, paste special, values and number formatting. So to decrease the decimals, the home tab values, home tab, neighborhood wise average prices. Decrease decimal. Next to it, you know. Find out neighborhood wise average prices. Neighborhood wise average prices. Go to the pivot table sheet. Neighborhood wise average prices. Neighborhood wise average prices. Just remove room type, replace it with, keep the average price as it is. Just remove the room type from rows, replace it with, now sort it. Click on row labels, more sort options by average of price. So district 6 has highest average price, followed by district 14, 13, 3 and 8. Now copy this table into the new sheet, create a bar chart. I can also find average prices, neighborhood and room type. Just drag room type to columns. Just drag room type to columns. Keep the neighborhood rows. Keep the values as average price. Just drag room type to columns. Neighborhood wise, room type wise, neighborhood in rows, room type in columns, price in values. Just add to the previous table, room type to columns. Okay. Copy the table, put it in new sheet, paste special, values and number formatting. For district 8 has a very high price. Huh? So all we are doing is non-numeric variables along with one numeric variable price. Earlier we worked only on non-numeric variables. Now we are also using two non-numeric variables and one numeric variable. Total 3 variables we are using: neighborhood, room type and price. 2 of them are non-numeric, one is numeric. On numeric data only you can calculate average, mean, median, standard deviation. On non-numeric you can only do counts. Frequency counts is the only thing you can do on non-numeric data. Okay. So we can find various information using these charts and graphs. Okay. Any doubts? Total will never add up because we are calculating the average of each. No? It's average, no, it's not total. They use the word grand total, but it is not the right grand total. It's an average of average. See, this 192 it is average of average. Using grand total, which is wrong. This is one problem with Excel pivot table. They use grand totals thing, but actually what it is doing is average of averages. It is average of averages. Similarly for rows also, for columns and for rows. Rows of grand total is average of row. So it is average of averages, not the total. So if I take these three, see 238.5. No, this I think is not matching again. I think this is the overall district 6 average of district 6 average. Now I want all of you to find out, answer this question. So create these 3 charts. Average number of reviews, room type wise, average number of reviews, neighborhood wise, average number of reviews, neighborhood and room type wise. So enter home apartment 34, private room 28, shared room 22. Average reviews. Neighborhood wise, district 5 has most reviews. So these are the average reviews for each of the districts. Because we can't have point to review, right? It has to be rounded off. Review means, right, what did they write? It cannot be point to review, point to review. It has to be a whole number. So you have to round it off to the integer or a whole number. So charting patterns, your choice. Whichever you want, you can use chart design. Chart design is your choice. Click on the chart, chart design will activate, and you can choose any of those chart designs you want. So it's up to you which one you want to use. And you want to change colors, you have the color changing patterns also. You can see the change colors pattern. So your choice of how to use, which pattern to use, your design, and you explore those designs. You can do it in PowerPoint, anything. You can connect the workbook. You connect it to a dashboard, SharePoint, anything. You can connect the worksheet to the PowerPoint. So whatever changes you are making in the Excel sheet will automatically update it in PowerPoint. Then neighborhood and room type. Got this, all of you? Now, sometimes we need to group the data. Grouping the data means frequency distribution table. Class interval, frequency, remember 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 21 to 30. And then we count the observations into that particular. So sometimes we need to convert the numerical data into frequency distribution tables. Frequency distribution table will have class interval and frequency. Two columns will be there, class interval and frequency. Typically, class interval will have a lower limit and upper limit, and you count how many observations will fall on that. Now, this process, we call it as grouping or bins. Binning or grouping is the word we use when we convert numerical continuous data into frequency distribution table. We convert numerical continuous data into frequency distribution table through the process of called grouping or binning. For that, we will use the variable minimum nights, drag minimum nights to rows, drag minimum nights to rows, drag minimum nights to rows. Now, right click on observation, right click on one single observation. You have something called group. There is something called group. Click on group. A window will start like this. It automatically reads the minimum and the maximum. It automatically reads the minimum and maximum, and it also suggests the class interval. Here it is saying the minimum is 1, maximum is 1000. It is suggesting class interval of 100. So let us first create the class interval with the default settings. Now drag minimum nights to values. Drag minimum nights to values. Once you group, you get the class intervals. Then drag minimum nights to values, you get the frequency. You can see on the pivot table. One minimum nights is in rows, the other is in values. Now there is a problem here. 98% of our data is in $1 to $100, and very few properties are there above. Very few properties are there above 100. That means we need to rework our class intervals. We need to rework our class intervals. Right click on the class interval. Right click on class interval. Now starting at is 1, ending at I'll make it by is 10. Starting is 1, ending at 100, by is 10. Click OK. Now look at the way it automatically set greater than 101, it classified into one category. And 1 to 10, again, we have lot of rooms within the 1 to 10 category. So what this is suggesting us is we need to rework our categorizations. I think above 70, we have very few properties, right? Above 70, we have very few properties, right? So right click on group, click OK. Now there is no thumb rule. It depends on your data. How you look at your data, then accordingly we have to do it. Till 1 to 5 is coming very large category. Yes. So $1 is a very, minimum night 1. Minimum night 1 is 1. So what we can do is we can, this is nights now, so we can reduce it further. 1 to 10. Okay, 1 night, 2 night, but this is not the right representation. This is not a class interval. So we need to give by 2. Minimum nights, this is a problem, right? Generally, we talk about 1 to 2 nights, 3 to 4 nights. This is minimum nights. That is why we are getting a table like this. So the categorization finally I use this. Starting at 1, ending at 10 by 2. Now I want you to group price. You want to decide what should be the class interval. Group price. Remove minimum nights from the fields. Those it will have. See, the answer is correct on this. Total observations 579. Price, group price. Given the average price, that is also grouping. Pivot tables, cross calculations, they all come under grouping. Minimum is 10, na? I have taken $200. Because mean is around 180, 170, right? Slightly above average, I have taken $200. But we have 407 properties with greater than $200 price. Greater than $200, we have 407 properties. So we'll understand that category, what is happening, why, which, where we are getting those. We'll apply a filter because we are not getting any filter till now. We'll apply a filter and study the pattern. Group option. First, you need to select the price, drag price to rows, right click on any single cell of price, you will see group. Now, these are the grouping parameters which I have taken. Oh, sorry. So, these are the grouping parameters I have taken. If you take marketing, more than should come under that. All right, all of you got the table. Now we have 1,207 rooms in about $200. About $200, the costly price, we have 107 properties. Now we want to understand where these 107 properties are there. They are high cost properties. Greater than $200 generally in Airbnb is high. If you look at our average of price, it is $186. Average is $186. So I have taken greater than 200 as the, now this 1,207 properties are high cost properties. Now I want to know where they are located, which neighborhood has them, and I also want to know which room type is having those high value properties. Right. So drag price from rows to filters. Just simply drag price from rows to filters. Now you can see there is a filters all. Click on the down arrow and choose only greater than. So drag price to filters. Then you can see the filters here. Click on the drill down. Select only 200 greater than. Click OK. We got 107 as common. Now drag neighborhood. 2 rows. Neighborhood 2. Now we will sort where these 1,207 properties exist. District 14, District 2 have high cost properties. I have sorted the price. Now District 14, 26 properties are greater than 200. District 2 255. And if you are looking at least only 5 properties in District 5 is there. So based on this, what do you analyze? District 14 and District 2 are high-end property. What is called high-end neighborhoods? You can call them like Julians and Bangaras of Hyderabad, sort of a thing. Very high-end, luxurious, because the price is very, very. So District 14 and 2 is considered as high-end, bottom. District 5, District 8 and District 3, 4, these are all considered as low-end properties. And mid-range properties are District 1, 13, 11 and 12. So you can segment, create a segmentation based on the properties. Now drag room type to columns. We will come to know what type of properties are high-end. Drag room type to columns. So entire home apartments are costliest. Entire home apartments are costliest in District 14 and District 2. Now this information is what we need when you are analyzing the market. When you are understanding and analyzing the market, this sort of interpretation and analysis is needed. Got it? Filters. You can apply filters. Filters is a very interesting option. Filters will help you to filter based on a criteria. Here the criteria is greater than 200. We are understanding the properties that are greater than 200. Okay, all of you created this neighborhood room type. Sorry, neighborhood and the count of room, neighborhood, right? Then more sort options. Count of neighborhood: Bedford, Williamsburg, Harlem, Midtown, Bushwick, Hell's Kitchen, Upper West Side, East Side. These are the right. We have very large number of neighborhoods are very many, right? Almost 220 neighborhoods are there. Now, when you have such large neighborhoods, you can do value filters. Value filters, or you can give, in this case, top 30 by count of neighborhood. Now you will get the table of only top. When you have very large data, you can further sort it by using the sort option. value filters, sort option, value filters, click on top 10 and then it will give you a number. See, top 30. Because we have 220 neighborhoods. In the earlier case, we have only 15 districts. It's a small data, but when you are large data, you have to use this top. Now, if you want bottom, give bottom 30. Right. So you can do top analysis and bottom analysis when you have very large amount of, or you can also give in between. In value filter, you can see here between. If you want a range of values, you can also give areas that have minimum of 200 rooms to 500 rooms. You'll get only those areas. So if you give between say 500 rooms, 1000 rooms. So you can see here only those neighborhoods where you have 500 to 1000, right? So value filters is very important when you are looking at very large data. When you are looking at very large data, you have to give value filters. Or if you want to remove filter, you can click here and clear filter from neighborhood. Clear filter is there. Clear filter from neighborhood will get your data back. All the 220. So when you have very large data, you need to apply filters. We need to apply filters. Value filters is what you need to apply. So click on row labels, value filters, and you will see the option. Last one is top 10. You can change it, top 20, top 30, or bottom 10, bottom 30. The moment you drag last preview to rows, it will read it as date. Now, right click on any single cell, go to group and select days also. By default, it will tell months only. Control and days. Press Control Tab button and click on days also. And click OK. Okay. Now you got all the variables here. Drag them back to field list. Drag years to rows. Number of reviews to values. You'll get the total number of reviews per year. So you have to drag last year to rows. Sorry, last review. So date functions are very important in our data analysis. In Excel, if the date is in the format of year, month, and date, it is automatically read as date. If it is dragged to a cell, a row cell in pivot table, it will automatically read it as year, months, and quarters. Right click on the year, group, and select days also. If the date is not in the format, you have to format it using date functions. You have to give the date format function. There are date functions are available. We will convert the date to the date format and then we will drag it to pivot table. We'll work on date functions in Excel, Python, and R. Dates are very important in data. So we'll be working on a lot of date formatting and changes, how to change it into year, month, date, all those formats we'll do. But here the date is already formatted in. If you go to your data sheet, see last preview, if you click on there, it says it is on top, you can see here, right? Last preview. If it is getting as hashes, expand the column. Some of you might have the column like this. So date function, drag first. Drag last preview to rows. Drag last preview to rows. Right click on any single cell and then control and select. Control, press your control button and select multiple options. And click OK. Year, months, quarters, and days. All four need to be selected. Then remove all of them from rows to field list. Okay. Then you drag them all to field list. You can see here, right? Years, months, quarters. So drag years to rows. Drag number of reviews to values. First one is 0, so you can exclude option is not there. You say okay. That's easy. So when you are plotting date or time, we use line plot. So 2022, there are many reviews, right?